Hello everyone to Infinity Spaces podcast. In this episode, you are having a lovely conversation with Nicolas, a hyperdimensional artist. Let's dive into the episode. Hello, Nicolas.
Hello,
How are you, Nicolas?
I'm great. How are you, Johnny?
I'm wonderful, thank you. So, we have been in touch, and I'm a big fan of your work. You are doing absolutely stunning things. And I also saw that you had your multi-dimensional art composition masterclass that you have made, and it made me so much more interest to know what's going on inside of your mind and how you see art, how you think about it, and for the people who don't know you, what what art style are you making?
Um, so for me, I'm in between art styles, but I would say I am in between abstract art, contemporary art, um, psychedelic, visionary. Um, I would say there are percentages or of art styles. Sometimes I go into surrealism. I'm orbitating now around pop art, op art, like optical art, and I was doing before more collage art, but now it's getting more into an essence that I have extrapolated into painting or conceptual art, and but yeah, revolving a lot around pop art. I am, but around those, I would say, and yeah, abstract impressionism. I'm trying to get more now also.
What is the essence of the works that you are trying to bring to life when you are painting?
Well, it's been changing through the years because now, going more to the present, I am focusing on. Well, I have to contextualize this because before I started with collage art, net art, op art, and then I started to go into sacred geometry, and since 2016, I had like profound experiences where I um, really felt the power of geometry, energy, vibration, the cosmic connection, and I started a deep research into sacred geometry and the relationship between the Peruvian ancient um, geometry and culture and ancient Oriental sacred geometry, like Lebanon, where my family is from, and Egypt, uh, India, around these cultures, mostly focused on the flower of life in relationship to Chacana. That is we could say one of the main or the main Inca symbol, or ancient Peruvian symbol. So I was focusing a lot on that, on weaving these relationships within these symbols with hyperdimensional geometry and communicating the relationship with this. And gradually, play started to come into my work. Uh, Not necessarily go with some mental or dark that I got really into in a process, an intellectual or symbolic, trying to communicate something, but joy, playfulness started to emerge in my work and like lightweightness. And that's when I started to feel that I wanted to do pop art, like around cartoons and logos. Like I logos came after, but like I this is recent, but I started to play around like just colors and shapes. This is a little bit more into like sacred geometry or psychedelic art, but the rest is basically abstract impressionism. It's just like um the use of movement and color, like gestural painting, and I that you can see like what the artist, how much pressure or strength he was, or it's more like embodying for the artwork. So right now I am trying to also like solidify and focus all the lines that I have been working. I'm working right now. I'm trying to do series or see how I can organize my work because I'm working on different exhibitions at the same time and different projects. So it's an interesting question. I had to contextualize it in like long story short on the process, but I am like for example this piece that I have here. It's a piece that um, this piece is so what I'm doing, focusing also in the idea of play and between pop art and visionary art, and all the spectre in the middle. So what I was doing is creating a Pinterest, how do you say it, like board?
Yeah, yeah, Pinterest board, like a vision board.
Yes, and I was putting a lot of reference that I liked. And what I was doing is putting a projector that I started doing in 2018, but I said like, okay, I don't like this is too easy. But right now I really want it to be easy for me to copy what is on the screen and do it perfectly. So I scroll in the Pinterest board and I start to do like random compositions. Also getting conceptually an approach to somehow glitch art, like about randomness and a way to explore error or that randomness. So I start to make random compositions about random stuff. Like there's a dinosaur here, a soccer field, shipibo geometry. There's like a dog with a knife. Here's a like cartoon pig. There's Tweety there, a fish. There's a guy going to another dimension. There's Snoopy. Like there's so much of wormholes. So uh, I'm trying to make like a chaos sort of glitch art, but relating also to this book of how is he called? Aldous Huxley. He has this book called The Doors of Perception, Heaven and Hell, and he talks about how like the mind is sort of uh, like there's a barrier, a limit, and we cannot see infinity. Usually, like the doors of our perceptions is limited. If not, like we would somehow get crazy. Like if we can see all the time. So these psychedelics or substances, what they are doing, they are like blurring the limits, so we can see more. And so this is type of an idea to have like a big noise like life, and if you focus or you stop a moment for contemplating, you can see that there is so much happening and so much hidden. And so I'm like, it's also a research on how much layers I can, same as this one, like there are like, I don't know, a lot of layers. So and before I was like putting, like, for example, in this piece, I was working. There's many layers, but there's not so much in the same area. It's more like there's something here, and it's like unifying with this layer, and there's like a layer here and this here. But it's like weaving areas. These other series, like the two that I was showing before, this one and this one, they're like really focusing or having like five, six, seven layer at the same time. And it's a research on how my mind can um, how much my mind can handle at the same time. Uh, yes,
How do you keep track when you work with so many layers?
it's super weird. I'm not sure. I just have to breathe and I have to breathe and relax. Um, Sometimes I'm losing some layers. The other day I just did like such a big thing above, and I lost so much thing that I cannot remember. So I have the picture.
So the layers in one part, you show part of them, but in a way you have them in your mind. So when you come back, you try to see the extensions of different layers layering one on top another.
Yeah, so I pull a little string or a part. So here you can see Tweety that is almost going like away.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the eye or a little bit of his legs, but it's almost gone. Here there are some guys like going through dimensions that has the arms like unified. They're almost gone, but sometimes I'm like putting again the outline because sometimes I forget they are there, and that's the idea. I make me remember of sigils, also like sigil magic, like chaos magic. So I I don't know how I got my track, but I
So
just like sometimes yes.
for people who want to try also to work with many layers, what do you think is the easiest way to start to work with more than one layer of perspective? Am I saying it right? Hello everyone, it's me again, just showing you all real quick my latest clothing drop. If someone here would like to have a new piece with my art, all the info will be in the description. I make all the printing by hand and there is no AI or any kind of generative art in the making of the designs. And let's jump back into the episode.
Yes, yes. So I would say just draw and paint things above the other things. Um,
But if I just
but
draw things on top on other things, it will be very random, but you somehow manage to keep your perspective of the layer while you add another layer. Like you have one perspective, and then you're not just putting something on top. Like uh, it looks to me like you have another perspective that is on top. So there is a simple way to how can you simplify it?
so I would say, like as I say, draw or paint above, but uh, you have to be mindful or of the lightness and shadows. So see what parts of each thing you want to put it like forward and backwards and put more light on that or more darkness like but it's a thing of intensity of contrast like in perspective there are like dimensions that you can work with. There is contrast, there's lightness, there's saturation, um, there is scale. So if you do something with more scale, more contrast, more saturation, you're putting it like more here, you know? If you put less of the other things, you're putting it backwards. So uh, for me, it's a way, it's very experimental right now, but that's the theory behind it, you know?
Epic.
Uh, and choose which parts of each thing you want to highlight. But it's like weaving shadows and lights, basically. With the shadow you mostly put back, with the light you come up, but it can go in like reverse.
Do you have objects that are both far and close at the same time?
Sometimes, yes, that's a good question actually. Uh, makes me remember some psychedelic experiences. Oh, okay. So no, that's interesting that you pull up that subject, but I was just telling that what you say about something being close and far away
Mm, okay.
made me think about like psychedelics experiences, like a deja vu.
When you have a deja vu of a psychedelic experience, what is the deja vu? How does it looks like? What are you remembering?
I'm not sure, but I had this like weird sensation that I had experienced that before. Um, yeah, I don't know the exact definition of deja vu, but I've like um, I know like they use it in different ways, but it's like a remember of a dream, right? Somehow,
I'm not sure about the
but
definition.
yeah,
I think it's that
I
you are remembering, you having a feeling that you remember
uh-huh.
something that wasn't happening physically.
Yeah. That's what I meant. So yeah, it was like that. That's interesting. Yeah, the feeling. It's very interesting. The sensation. That's what I was trying to get in my art in one moment. Like less make people think and more make people feel. And through the feeling that they can think, but it's not necessarily attached to a mental approach. I really love that.
Nice. And to make your art with more layers, you think this is what helping to make it more immersive, that it will can take your own perception and not make you hold maybe a thought or to take it to a small travel.
Yeah, I feel it that it can get more into contemplation. And yes, like I have experienced one moments of like presence, of seeing memories, feeling the body, feeling emotions, like everything at once. And I feel that's a moment of presence that I feel it can get through this. But also, as I say, it's like a process of research for me. It's interesting.
So when you're coming with a new piece to make, I don't see you. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're coming with a new piece to make, um, is it something that you know what it's going to be, or is it something that is flowing with it? How does the process make the specification of the painting, or do you think about it beforehand?
For me, there are different approaches to doing a painting. So I've kind of structured this map, or yeah, I would say maybe it's a map. So, or like branches. We have like the pieces that are experimentation. I'm just experimenting. So there are pieces that are visions that I have had, and I can approach to. I usually approach through experimentation, but they're more structured, more defined of my north, where I'm trying to go. There are pieces that are somehow experimentation that I start to assembly, like it's like a collage uh, way of approaching. So the Pinterest way is more like collage, but in painting. Then, mm, yeah, I would say they're like between visions. I see like different branches between within the branches, like visions that can be ideas or literally things that I have seen in my mind, or there's more the way that I'm just assembling or playing or experimenting. There's not like a clear thing that I want, but it's more like a analog photography that I'm trying to reveal. Yes.
Nice. You said before at the start of the conversation something about sigils and chaos magic. Do you practice any chaos magic practices or any other kind of body slash spiritual approaches to get a better sense of what can be here, like on how we can perceive reality, or is it only the practice of making art that helps you to explore in more depth your own, I guess, hidden layers of perception that you are trying to bring to life so you can immerse yourself in them and dive even deeper?
Mm, I I haven't thought of chaos magic in that way of like revealing the the hidden layers of reality,
Mm-hmm.
but interesting. I've been like researching about that like before for some years, like occultism, esotericism, but I didn't got to practice that much. I was kind of like I was just reading, but didn't practice that much. Was like really, uh, maybe the word would be respect or like separated from the practice. But what I've been working on is like visualization, manifestation. That's a practice I've been doing since 2024, like January, and I stopped when I started traveling like in April. I was doing it little, but then I have started doing it again, and I like I approach to chaos magic or sigils like sometimes, but I didn't got to like really practice it. Uh, for me, it's but I've been really interested. Like, although I haven't gotten so much deep in the practice, also in the theory, just kind of superficial. But I know like the basic like dynamic or theory that is that you make a symbol that has like a meaning is structured through language or numbers, and then you forget about it, and but you still see it, and that like start to shift your reality. um, but maybe I apply it in different ways somehow. Yeah, but that could be like somehow the answer.
Yes, for sure. You said that you have practiced manifestation. Uh, how do you look at it?
So basically, there are different ways, but it's like, okay, so you want something, like for example, more health, more harmony, more money, more strength, whatever you want in your life. it's like somehow quote unquote in the future. Uh,
Here is me from the future. In this moment, Nicolas had a phone call from the government about a very cool project that he will explain us a bit more now.
What is the
so
goal with the government about the Kiosk Project? And just a bit of context, what is the Kiosk Project for everyone that doesn't know?
yeah, so the Kiosk Project is basically a way to get the art closer to the people in the street. So it's like a gallery, it's like a museum, but at the same time, it's not. It's a kiosk where it used to be like newspaper, something very into pop culture in the world, especially in Peru. It's like very for the people, you know. So um, it's a way for demo. How do you say like democratic art? That usually there's like a distance, like elitist distance to go to the gallery. Like people usually don't step in the gallery or the museum because it's like more far away from its daily life. But here's like literally in the street, people just passing by, going somewhere, and it's like, okay, there's art from like an artist that has a piece in the MoMA collection, or artists that are just like starting to its artistic path. So we have like all the spectrum of artists in our like portfolio, and it's like just dissolving structures and restructuring, like an alchemy of social art, something like this. And uh, yeah, so the goal of going with the government is to make it more formal and to be able to dialogue with institutions that are like more big and more uh, moving masses, or that have more voice, so we can reach more people and um, people to see the intention that is behind, that is what is behind my work, what is behind the kiosk, that is another artwork, but more like a social sculpture, something around this concept of Joseph Beuys. But the idea is to promote the solar consciousness, that we are one, the unity consciousness, and um, that's what the kiosk is basically about: hyperdimensionality and unity consciousness. So it's like making more massive, basically, the idea.
Nice. I have two main questions that come up to my mind. That one is hyperdimensionality. How do you define hyperdimensionality?
How I define it is basically um, more than 3 dimensions. I like get stick somehow to the like usual, I don't know, Google, Wikipedia mathematical definition. Uh, it's like hyperspace. It's the space that is more than 3 dimensions, and for me, it's related to. It's interesting because the three, like if you go to physics, like there's 3% of the matter, the energy that we see, and the 97 is like invisible. So these 3 dimensions that we can quote unquote see or experiment are the shell of what is behind. It's like infinite dimensions. So for me, hy- this hyperspace is that, you know.
I will have a trick question that came to my mind.
Yes, please.
You talked about that in perspective you have different aspects like saturation, which is one that helps you to add more layers, and you have what are the others that you describe that you have? You have the lighting, you have the saturation.
Yeah, saturation, um, could be contrast, um, but it's basically, yeah, contrast somehow, uh, that involves, I think, two dimensions, but it's the, yeah, the contrast.
Because if we
The
having a three-dimensional object, but you
uh-huh.
also take in aspect the saturation and you also take in aspect the lighting, does it add more dimensions or is it still three dimensions?
Yeah, there are more dimensions, but more into the, I feel, the conceptual way, because there are three geometrical dimensions and there are more like the conceptual dimensions that, or yeah, it's, for me it's like a more ambiguous field that a language gets me closer, but I don't have it like all defined. um, you know what I mean? Yes, so because there's the physics of light, the physics of space, and we have the three dimensions that is like geometry somehow into physics, but it's pure geometry, it's like space. But in the physics that will be the dynamic of energy interacting with space, there are dimensions that are conceptual there, or we can approach or understand it through concepts. Maybe they're not necessarily conceptual. For me, everything is somehow conceptual, like a matrix of information. And um, but yeah, there will be dimensions that are like between dimensions. It makes me think of fractals. You have the fractals in the share screen. Like fractals actually are in between dimensions. There are fractals that are like 2.5 or 1.5, uh, like 1.3 dimensional. They're not like 2 or 3, you know? So it makes me think of this, like what is in between the two and the third dimension, or between the energy or the space.
I can really see how the space that you have between dimension is a big key factor into revealing potentially more depth, because in a way the space between them is what defines what we can see, and if there is more to see, it still is defined by that same space that you have between the 1 and the 2 and between the 2 and the 3. So there is an
Mhm.
essence that we can still keep track of.
Mm.
And it's unique to say that
Yeah.
there is an essence, because if there is an essence, there is a feeling. And when feelings come back to the game as a thing that helps us to discover more of what we have between dimensions. If you hate it that your algorithm sucks, or you just want to find new unique artists that make art with an extra dimension, come check my art magazine to be updated with new paintings, complex psychedelic music drops, events, and much more. All the info will be in the description.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't get it totally, but I'm somehow have an essence, a sensation of what you said.
I meant that
Yeah.
if we have a one dimension and a two dimension and a three dimension, let's say we have more
Uh-huh.
than three dimensions, what we have in relation to all of those dimensions that are under three and above three is the space
Hmm.
between the dimensions. It's like,
Okay.
and from what I understand, an essence, it's not the actual thing, it's the outer layer that holds the thing. So if we have dimensions, the essence of the dimensions is the space that the dimensions are in.
Okay.
Make
Yeah,
sense?
like somehow, like not completely. Like you're saying, the essence is the like the shell of the things that are contained in it,
I think
and
so. What's come to my mind, we can really talk about the specifications, but if I talk generally, essence is not a thing. Essence is like more of the shell of the thing. Like, mm, 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 you can do a good deed in many ways, but
Mhm.
the you still doing a good deed. So the essence of all the possibilities of good deeds is the good deed concept. So it's like the bigger umbrella that all the possibilities of good deeds can be in.
Yes, yeah, I somehow grasp it. It's yeah, but it's interesting. Like for me, the essence actually would be the thing,
Really? How so?
because the essence is for me what is the opposite. Like the essence is what is inside the shell.
And what is the shell then? The
Would be the thing. Or
the thing
maybe it's like
the thing
kind of
is the shell that containing the essence.
yes,
So what the thing is contained in?
the void. I don't know.
Mhm.
But it's like a paradox. Like for me, everything is paradoxic. Like at the same time, the essence is the shell, and the what is the shell and the essence contained in is at the same time the essence, because the void is the essence and the surface at the same time. So it's like, you
Uh,
know,
if you're thinking that there is void and essence and thing and they are all the same, I think the difference is only intensity level of or density levels.
exactly.
So is essence is more dense than an object, or is object is more dense than an essence?
Yeah, for me, it's like if we set parameters, well, it's like I just get into like relativity, but like I would say that the object is more material because it's like the essence would be less dense, but somehow more dense because the essence is connected more to all. So it's like more dense in terms of the totality. For me, the essence is the totality
If it's
because it's
totality, it's like I think the less dense, because every time that you say that something is dense, you separate it from the totality. It's part of totality, but it's like a single viewpoint of the possibility from totality. And the totality is the most abstract.
yes, yes. I feel it's a way like it's relative and depends on our definition of density.
Of course.
Like what is dense?
Quick pause, everybody. If you're getting value from this, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share it. That's the only way this podcast reaches to more people. And let's dive back into the episode. Dense is when you have more than less. I think in specification. Like this is more dense, you have more in it. I think it doesn't matter that what you have more in it is the same than what it contains. That what contains it. They can be the same, but you can have
Uh-huh.
more of the same in a way.
The thing is that for me, totality would be the densiest because it has everything. But to be connected with totality makes you more lightweight because it's less separated, like it's a paradox. You know what I mean? Got you thinking, or what?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to follow the thought train.
Uh-huh.
What comes to mind? I try to think why will the dentist
Densiest, I don't know.
densiest
Like more, the more density.
densiest, yeah, why the most densiest will be the whole. It doesn't really, like, I think if you have let's say that an object, a material object, is more dense, so
Uh-huh.
the densiest will be the point that there is the core of the object, and the core of the object is the same, which is what the object is made of and what contains the object. So in a way, the dentist, I can see why it will be the most abstract, but then the concept of dense will lose the meaning of it.
Yes, it's a paradox.
I'm not sure it's a paradox. I think it's more terms of uh, limitations. You can say that dense is until X level. More than this level, it's not more dense. It's more abstract. It's starting the opposite. Like you have a field in the middle. This is dense. If you go
Yeah.
over, you come back to the start. They're like,
Yes, I know what you say. Uh, yeah, this is like the language traps somehow.
love it.
Yeah.
And what other projects are you up to?
So there's a kiosk. I have a solo show coming in March 2nd on a digital solo show on Artsy with a new gallery from here, from Peru.
Digital
And
solo show? What is a digital solo show?
so there's a platform called Artsy. Do you know it?
I think I heard about it when I was in the States. I was in an art event and they had like an artsy flyer. It's like a platform for artists to sell art, right?
Yes. So basically, um, I know there's like Artsy. I've heard of Saatchi too, but Artsy is like most of the galleries in the world are like putting up their available works there,
Mm-hmm.
or so you can search an artist and see what their available works are. Um, and I don't know if it's like all, but it's like a reference. So um, we're doing a solo show there in Artsy Digital, and we're uh, like seeing if it's gonna be like in physical world too, but for now just in the digital world. So that is coming. Um, I have like many exhibitions planned for the year in the kiosk of like very top artists, and we have two in February and more in the next ones.
Where is the
And
kiosk set on a daily base?
it's like outside my studio in the street. Yeah, do you want to see it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So it's a cute, um, quick tour on my studio. This is my drawing where I was a child.
Nice.
Yes, this one also. And
You see the
for
relation of your old works with what you are making today?
yes, with the pop art I do, with the visionary psychedelic art somehow, because like wait, here there's like a mandala that I did when I was a child, there's like an X of thunders. Uh, there's like this perspective grid.
Hmm.
Uh, there are snakes. Now here I'm like doing collage of like work of now with works of before. So there was a sense of like somehow mythology or symbology or I don't know abstract colors, and it was sort of psychedelic and visionary, but this was like a weird monster of different animals. Uh, I can see some relationship,
That's epic.
and yeah, well, and this is the house where well, I was like, uh,
I am losing your signal a bit.
okay, okay, better now.
Hopefully.
So yeah, I said that I was born like very close in a hospital, and then I came here, and this was like the house I lived until like 7 years old, and so this is my childhood home. So the kiosk has like a very interesting story because was my reference of culture since I was like born and all my childhood. So here's the kiosk, and
Hyper
it's like
Kiosco.
hyper kiosco. Yes, and actually it was here before, but we have to move it because they opened like a cafeteria, like a store and like a cafe shop. So yeah, here's the kiosk. Actually, I don't have the keys inside, but we can go inside later. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do like another call because I have to go. Um, what do you say? I feel we have more to talk.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very fun another call of ours, and we definitely can have another one. I would love that.
Amazing, amazing.
Nicolas,
Yeah,
thank you so much for being part and wanting to join to this conversation. You are very talented artist, and I'm looking forward to see more of your art in Instagram, in my magazine, and in general you evolving because you have a path and you are doing what you need to do. So it's always wonderful.
amazing. Thank you, Yanni.